In a small, quiet town, Lena was a simple, shy girl. Her clothes were old, her shoes patched, and she often walked alone in the school corridors. She wasn't rich, she wasn't popular, but she had a secret. She loved music. The violin was her escape, her voice, and her dream. One day, the school announced a talent show. Students got excited, talking about what they would perform. Lena quietly wished she could play, but the rich and snobby kids saw her as an easy target. "Hey, Lena," sneered Jessica, the richest girl in school. "Why don't you play the violin? You might actually make everyone laugh." The crowd laughed. Lena felt her cheeks burn, her heart racing. She wanted to disappear, but something inside her sparked a quiet determination. That evening, Lena returned to her tiny room. She took out her old violin, strings slightly worn, with scratch from years of practice. She placed it under her chin, drew the bow across the strings, and let the music flow. The melody was raw, emotional, and beautiful. Each note carried her dreams, her sadness, her hope. For the first time, Lena felt alive, powerful, unstoppable, even if no one else knew it yet. The next day at school, as the talent show approached, the rich kids laughed again, expecting a joke. But Lena had already started writing her own story, one note at a time. The day of the talent show arrived. The auditorium was buzzing with excitement. Students chatted, teachers smiled, and the judges prepared their scorecards. Lena hid backstage, her heart pounding, clutching her old violin. The rich kids laughed and whispered. "She's going to fail," one of them said. "This is going to be hilarious." When the announcer called her name, Lena walked onto the stage, small and shy. The crowd snickered, expecting a joke. But Lena ignored them. She took a deep breath, lifted her violin, and closed her eyes. The first note was soft, almost hesitant, but then it grew stronger. The melody was pure, heartfelt, and unlike anything anyone had heard before. Each movement of a bow told a story of struggle, hope, and courage. The laughter vanished. Some students gasped, others stared in disbelief. Even the teachers were moved, their eyes glistening. Lena's music was no longer just a performance. It was a voice, a truth that couldn't be ignored. By the third song, the auditorium was silent, except for the mesmerizing sound of her violin. The rich kids, who had mocked her, were frozen, their jaws dropping. Lena's eyes remained closed, lost in her music. Every note left the audience speechless, emotional, and teary-eyed. The girl they had laughed at had turned the stage into a place of awe. As Lena's final notes lingered in the air, a heavy silence filled the auditorium. No one moved. No one breathed. The raw emotion in her music had touched everyone's heart. A few students, who had laughed at her before, now had tears in their eyes. Even Jessica, the richest girl in school, stared in shock. She whispered to her friend, I didn't know she could play like this." The judges exchanged glances, clearly impressed. One of them quietly said, "This is talent we don't see every day." Lena, still focused on her violin, didn't notice the emotion she had stirred. Her music had spoken louder than words ever could. Each note was a story of struggle, of hope, of a girl who refused to be invisible. Finally, the auditorium erupted into applause, slowly at first, then louder and louder. Tears streamed down faces. The shy, quiet girl who had been mocked had turned the entire audience into believers. Backstage, Lena's hands trembled, not from nerves, but from the overwhelming emotion of sharing her soul. For the first time, she felt seen, not for her clothes, not for her family's poverty, but for the beauty she carried inside. The next day, the school corridors were buzzing with whispers. Students who had mocked Lena yesterday now talked about her music in awe. Even the teachers were impressed, calling her parents to share how incredible her performance had been. "Did you see Lena yesterday?" one student asked. She played like a professional." Jessica, the rich girl who had laughed at her before, avoided Lena's gaze. She had never expected that the shy girl could make such an impact. Some students quietly apologized for their mockery, realizing they had underestimated her. Lena, still humble, smiled softly. She didn't crave attention or praise. All she wanted was to share her music and prove to herself that her talent mattered. At home, Lena's parents were overjoyed. Her father said, We always knew you had something special. The world is finally seeing it too." Meanwhile, a local music teacher who had attended the show approached Lena after school. "Your talent is rare," he said. "You could take this further. Competitions, scholarships, maybe even a career in music." Lena's heart raced. She had never imagined this day would come. The girl who had been laughed at was now on the path to something extraordinary. A few days after the talent show, Lena received an unexpected invitation. The local music academy wanted her to attend free violin classes and perform at an upcoming school festival. Her parents were thrilled, but Lena felt nervous. She had never performed in front of such a large, professional audience before. The memory of the rich kids laughing at her still lingered in her mind. At school, whispers followed her everywhere. Some students were genuinely excited for her, while others were skeptical. "Do you really think she can perform again?" one asked. But Lena didn't let doubt stop her. She practiced day and night, perfecting every note, every melody. Each time she played, she remembered the faces in the auditorium, the awe, the tears, the applause, and it fueled her determination. Finally, the day of her first professional performance arrived. The stage was bigger, the audience larger, and the pressure immense. Lena stepped up, violin in hand, heart pounding, but she closed her eyes and let the music speak. The first few notes floated into the air, soft and mesmerizing. Then the melody grew, stronger, richer, and more emotional than ever before. Every person in the audience felt the story she was telling, of struggle, hope, and unyielding passion. By the end of a performance, there was no laughter, no whispers, just silent awe, followed by roaring applause. Lena had not only proven her talent again, but she had also earned respect, admiration, and a new beginning. After her stunning performance at the school festival, Lena's talent began to attract attention beyond her school. A local newspaper wrote an article about the shy girl who moved everyone with her violin, and soon a small video of her performance went viral online. Teachers, parents, and even strangers were praising her. People who had once ignored her now wanted to meet the girl with the magical music. Lena felt nervous but excited. This attention was overwhelming, yet it opened doors she had never imagined. A music academy in the city contacted her parents, offering scholarships and advanced training for Lena. At school, the students who had mocked her before avoided her or tried to befriend her now. Jessica, the rich girl, quietly said, I'm sorry, Lena. I never expected you to be this talented." Lena smiled softly. She didn't need their apologies or recognition. Her music had already spoken for her. But still, she realized how far her passion could take her, and she felt more determined than ever to follow her dream. That evening, Lena sat in her small room, holding her violin. She remembered every moment of struggle, every tear, every laughter at her expense. And she whispered to herself, "This is just the beginning." Lena's talent had now reached the city's music academy. For the first time, she was about to perform on a much bigger stage, in front of experienced musicians, teachers, and a large audience. She felt nervous. The room was filled with people who had seen her videos online, some curious, some skeptical. A few talented students whispered, "Let's see if she's really as good as they say." Backstage, Lena's hands trembled slightly, but she took a deep breath and thought of the first time she had played in the school auditorium, the way her music had touched everyone. That memory gave her courage. When it was her turn, she walked on stage quietly, violin in hand. The lights shone down, the crowd went silent, and for a moment, she felt the weight of everyone's expectations. She lifted her violin, drew the bow, and began to play. The first note floated through the hole like a gentle breeze, then grew into a powerful, emotional melody. Every note told her story, the struggles, the laughter, the tears, and her unwavering determination. The audience was spellbound. Some closed their eyes, letting the music take them away. Others whispered in disbelief. By the final note, tears streamed down faces, and the applause was deafening. Lena stepped back, breathless but smiling. She had not only proved her skill, but had shown the strength of her spirit. The shy, humble girl from a small town was now a force to be reckoned with in the world of music. After her incredible performance at the City Music Academy, Lena's name was on everyone's lips. Teachers praised her, and students admired her, but not all attention was positive. A talented, confident student named Sophia saw Lena as a threat. Sophia had always been the star of the academy and couldn't believe a shy girl from a small town could steal the spotlight. During practice sessions, Sophia whispered to her friends, "Let's see if she can survive a real competition. I'll make sure everyone sees who the better musician is." Lena overheard some of the whispers but didn't respond. Instead, she focused on her music, practicing harder than ever. Every note she played carried her passion, resilience, and dreams. The academy announced a big city competition, and both Lena and Sophia would compete. The pressure was intense. Lena knew this was her chance to prove herself on an even bigger stage, but she also understood that competition meant facing criticism, jealousy, and challenges she had never faced before. As the day of the competition approached, Lena felt a mix of nerves and excitement. She clutched her violin tightly, whispering to herself, "I didn't come this far to let anyone doubt me. Let the music speak." The day of the city competition arrived. The auditorium was packed with music lovers, judges, and other talented performers. Lena stood backstage, her violin in hand, heart pounding, but she was ready. Sophia smirked from across the stage. "Hope you're prepared to lose," she whispered. Lena didn't reply. She knew word didn't matter, only the music did. When it was her turn, Lena stepped onto the stage. The spotlight fell on her. The crowd went silent, and a hush of anticipation filled the room. She took a deep breath and began to play. The first notes were soft and emotional, capturing the audience's attention immediately. Then the melody grew stronger, richer, and more powerful than anyone had expected. Every note was full of emotion, her struggles, her determination, her dreams. The judges leaned forward, captivated. The audience was on the edge of their seats. Even Sophia, who had been confident, froze as Lena's music completely stole the spotlight. By the final note, the auditorium erupted. People were crying, cheering, and applauding. Lena had not only proven her talent, but she had also shown that passion and heart outweigh arrogance and doubt. Backstage, Sophia approached Lena, her expression mixed with awe and respect. I didn't know you could play like that," she admitted quietly. Lena smiled softly, whispering to herself, "This is only the beginning. My music will always speak louder than words." After her stunning performance at the city competition, Lena's life began to change dramatically. Music lovers, teachers, and even local media praised her talent. She was offered a scholarship at a prestigious music academy, giving her the opportunity to train with the best musicians in the country. At school, Lena was no longer the shy, invisible girl. Students who had mocked her before now admired and respected her. Even Jessica and Sophia had learned that talent, courage, and heart can't be ignored. Lena, however, stayed humble. She knew this was just the beginning of her journey. Every practice, every performance, and every note was a step closer to her dreams. One evening, as she played her violin in her small room, she thought about everything she had overcome, the laughter, the tears, the doubts. She smiled softly, realizing that her music had not only changed her life but had touched countless hearts. And in that moment, Lena whispered to herself, "I will keep playing, because music is my voice, my story, and my dream. Nothing can stop me now." The shy girl who was once laughed at had become a symbol of hope, courage, and unstoppable talent, proving that true passion can break all barriers. After gaining recognition at the city competition, Lena received an invitation to perform at a regional music festival, a stage far bigger than anything she had experienced before. Her parents were proud but nervous for her. Lena herself felt a mix of excitement and anxiety. This was a new level, more audience, more pressure, more expectations. Backstage, she noticed famous musicians preparing for their own performances. Some looked confident, some skeptical of this young girl from a small town. Lena took a deep breath, held her violin tightly, and whispered to herself, "I've come this far. Let the music speak." When her turn came, the spotlight shone down, and the crowd fell silent. Lena closed her eyes and began to play. The first notes were delicate, filled with emotion, then grew into a powerful melody that captivated everyone. The audience, including judges and professional musicians, was spellbound. Whispers of awe spread across the hall. "Who is this girl? Her music, it's incredible." By the end of the performance, applause erupted, Standing ovations filled the hall, and Lena realized that her music was now reaching hearts far beyond her town. Backstage, one of the famous musicians approached her. "You have a rare gift. Keep playing. Your journey is just beginning," he said. Lena smiled, feeling a mix of pride and determination. She had stepped beyond her comfort zone, and this was just the start of her rise to greatness. After her incredible performance at the regional festival, Lena's talent was recognized far and wide. She began receiving invitations to perform in major cities, music academies, and international competitions. Despite the fame and opportunities, Lena remained humble. She remembered the days when she was mocked at school, laughed at for her worn-out violin, and told she would never succeed. Those memories fueled her passion and determination even more. At her first international music competition, Lena faced the best young musicians from around the world. The stage was enormous, the audience global, and the pressure unimaginable. But as she lifted her violin, closed her eyes, and let the music flow, she played from her heart. Every note told her story of struggle, hope, perseverance, and triumph. The judges were astonished. The audience was moved to tears. Lena's performance was magical, unforgettable, and powerful. She didn't just play music. She told the story of a girl who refused to be invisible, who dared to dream, and who believed in her talent against all odds. When the results were announced, Lena won the top award. She had achieved what once seemed impossible: recognition, respect, and the chance to share her music with the world. Backstage, she held her violin and whispered softly. From a shy girl laughed at by her classmates to someone whose music touches hearts everywhere, this is just the beginning. Lena smiled, knowing that her journey wasn't just about winning. It was about inspiring others, following her dreams, and never giving up. The shy girl from a small town had become a symbol of hope and courage, and her music would continue to echo in hearts everywhere. The end.